Welcome to this talk, the next 40 minutes or so. I'm delighted that Edith is here with us, who's a student who's just entering fourth year. So the idea of the next half an hour or so is to hopefully paint a picture on what you could expect if you were to come to study with us at the University of Dundee School of Business, and Edith will be able to give you a first-hand view and share with you some of her own stories and what it's like to be a student on the business management degree. So that's me on the right there. I'm Dr. Daniel Clark, the Business Management Programme Director. I've been at the University of Dundee since about 2012. We are part of the business management degree is homed within management and marketing. And Keith, as you can see on the left there, he is our head of team. The University of Dundee School of Business is made up of 3 departments. There's accounting and finance, economic studies, and management and marketing. So I've put that photograph there on the right because that's my favourite day of the year. That is the graduation day at Caird Hall. And of course, as I say, trying to paint the picture of what you might expect between now and 4 years from now, or 5 years, if you join us next year, what you could expect for graduation. Well, these are some of the people you would see on your journey with us. Some universities, some schools of management, and schools of business, can have up to 200 staff in UDSB in management and marketing. You can see that we're a team of about 20 people. So we're small, but we cover all areas, as you'd expect in the world of business. And so these are the faces of some of the academic members of staff, experiences from all over the world you'd expect to see in the classroom and in seminars. And as you would expect at any top business school, those staff on the previous page are literally those who write the textbooks. So there's a sample of some textbooks here from marketing to leadership to human resources management. So what I'd like to say just before we go any further is, like you might expect our accounting and finance degrees to be accredited by professional bodies, the business management degree is accredited by the Chartered Management Institute. So what that means is we have a dual accreditation. When you graduate from UDSB with a business management degree, you're also eligible for the level 5 diploma in leadership and management, which is it's a degree level certificate that's offered by CMI. So there's various levels of accreditation, and depending upon which pathway, which route you take through the business management degree will determine whether you get an award, a certificate, or a diploma at the higher level of accreditation. But there are a number of benefits of working with CMI. One, the branding and the kudos and the reputational gains, but also the opportunities to use their resources, networking, to mentoring and so forth. So what can you expect if you come to UDSB in first year then? Well, just a few points to note here. You are allocated typically, each member of staff in the business school is an academic advisor. So that means myself, for example, I'm an academic advisor to a handful of first year students, a handful of second, third and fourth year. So the academic advisor is the first point of call, the first person you go to for academic matters, pastoral matters, and ultimately they are there as a sounding board, as a guide, as a mentor, somebody to help you through your journey. And so as happens around this time of the year, we're just starting to get prepared now for induction. So before teaching starts, you have a freshers week, if you're concerned about some of your maths skills, for example, because indeed some students come to us saying that maths isn't their strongest element, and it is just some economics, accounting and finance within the degree, and so there are opportunities to brush up on those skills, and also in the Freshers Week to get to meet your advisor and to get to join a few societies, which Eden and I will speak about a bit later on. So the first year experience looks something like this. So there are 6 subjects across the board, and the first year is designed to give you an introduction to business. So you study the international, let's say, business environment. There's also an introduction to digital business, and in semester 1, with me, this is my module. I look after this module. It's a study skills module called Step Up to Business. So this is to help you prepare to develop and acquire, refine all the skills you need to excel, to flourish, and to thrive in the business management degree. And as you would expect, there's also marketing and accounting and economics. So the first year is compulsory, but as you move into 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year, you see you have the ability to choose options. And it's here where you can start to tailor and to shape your degree towards your own interests. If you're interested in perhaps a career in HR, or interested in marketing and entrepreneurship, enterprise, or say like the creative economies or the digital economy, you can pick these options to help make sure that you get there when you graduate. So perhaps just to note here, in semester 1, there's an enterprise creation module, so an enterprise module where you typically work on a business model and you develop a business plan. And then in 2nd year, there's an opportunity to do a 30-hour 1-week internship. So unfortunately, we don't have a year-long, say like a sandwich placement or a year-long work placement, but we do have a module that's entirely dedicated for you to do an internship alongside studying law or emerging technologies. So into 3rd year, we study human resource management, responsibility, diversity, and geopolitics as core modules, and then you have an option to choose from the other 3. In semester 2, you do a module on research methods where you develop and you acquire, you refine the skills to do independent research, and hopefully in 4th year you have an option to go on to do a dissertation. So the 4th year looks like this. As you can see, there's only 1 core module in 4th year compared to 1st year, where all the modules, there were 6 core modules. So here in 4th year you have a lot more choice. So you can specialize in branding, managing in the public sector, in charity work, and in semester 2 and 4th year you can see there's options around sustainable supply chain management, leadership, and an organisation behaviour related module, perhaps HR, on the subject of managing teams and individuals in a multicultural world. So if there are any questions on that, please post them in the live Q&A, and we can pick them up as we go along. Perhaps Edith can share her insights on what's like choosing these options and sort of carving a pathway. I'm sure she'll say some of that in a moment when we hand over to Edith. But just to move on then, a normal working day in 1st year, perhaps 2nd year, 3rd year and 4th year is group work is not uncommon in the business schools, like the world of work. We don't tend to work alone. We tend to work in groups, so teamwork is key. And throughout the degree programme, you have presentations. As I said, in 2nd year, there's enterprise module where you develop a business plan. So there are reports. It's not all essays. It's not all writing 2.5 or 3,000 word essays. But typically, for every hour lecture, where your lecturer will deliver material, you will have an hour tutorial or seminar where you get the opportunity to go away, do the reading, develop your understanding, and then come back and discuss those ideas. And that's where the real learning takes place. It's the seminars and the workshops. So there's a range of assignments. It's not just essays. There's report writing, there's perhaps writing blogs, reflective sort of essays, reflective journal writing, and more creative things, like maybe even and so designing, a web page, for example. So that's a little bit about what you can expect. As I said, the Step Up to Business module is something I take care of in the first year. So I have the delight of working with all students who come through the business degree in first year. And the Step Up to Business, as I said, is all about helping you belong to the business school, helping you become a professional student of business studies. The module Step Up to Business is all about becoming, belonging, and as it being. That's a professional student. So we give you all the skills. We help you navigate all the resources, the library resources, so you can thrive in the rest of your modules. This is just an example of a poster. So in third year and fourth year, in the research and the consultancy modules, you're asked to, not to do an essay, but you're asked to create a poster, to disseminate, to show your learning. So in Step Up to Business, we help you develop those skills in first year that you will draw upon in second, third and fourth year. If you do a consultancy project or a dissertation working with a local business on a live case study, a live project, if you work with a company in fourth year, or indeed throughout your internships in the summer, if you pick one, they might ask you to present your ideas. So this is a key skill that you pick up through the business degree, on how to orally present and to visually show your ideas. So here, this poster is about the socio-economic impact of the Victoria and Albert Museum in Dundee. So as you can see, this was the poster that won the prize for the best poster, as even the layout resembles the building itself. The V&A, the design of the boxes resembles the building itself. So as you might expect, if you've come from a school or college, there's a lot of support to help you through whatever individual personal challenges you may face throughout your university career. So student services, there's the disability services, services for international students, and the Academic Skills Centre, which is where you can go to further refine and develop, practice those skills you learn in Step Up to Business. The academic skills of how to be more critical, how to be more reflective, how to write more convincing sort of answers, if you like, how to reference whatsoever, etc. So key, and something that's very important at the University of Dundee School of Business is careers and employability. Now, most universities, even University of Dundee, a lot of the career services are centred, they are housed in the centre of the university. So careers advisors typically at the University of Dundee work with students from across the university. But the business school is fortunate to have, that's a dedicated careers advisor who works exclusively and only with business students. So as I mentioned already, there's the internship module that's delivered by the team from the careers service in collaboration with academic staff in the business school. And students, they benefit from one-to-one careers guidance from first year. And also, unlike other universities, when you graduate from University of Dundee, you continue to have access to the career services. So there's support with all aspects of the recruitment process. One thing that's a lot of employers use is assessment centres. So the careers advisors have great insight with alumni, with professional HR consultants who come in and work with the careers advisors to help you develop the skills to pass those initial screens at the recruitment centres, and of course help with CV writing and opportunities. So the University of Dundee Students Association, so the DUSA, is a big organisation, wins awards constantly every year. And the University of Dundee is an award-winning in terms of student experience. So DUSA is brilliant for student representation. The student voice is important to both the business management degree, to the business school, university wide, where students get to work with class reps, with class ambassadors, and feed back their thoughts on the running of the degree, and hopefully to serve to improve the degree programme itself. And that last point there about student-friendly prices, perhaps that's why in part, hopefully now as we come out of COVID, the student nights and the student events attract a lot of students on campus. So as I said, employability is key. We have an employability advisor. We have a careers advisor who work exclusively with the business school to arrange guest lectures, mentoring, volunteering, industry sort of visits, and some workshops and what have you. So there are over 250 societies within the University of Dundee, and 4 of them are within the School of Business. UDMS is the University of Dundee Marketing Society, there's the Investment Society, and there's the Business Society. Enactus is a society that was started up just last year, and it's a global organisation where students work on social impact, live case studies. And last year, students won a Newcomers Award on some of the projects that they were involved with. So there's loads of societies, as I say, across the university. There's a society which Ida will talk about in just a while. She give you her experience with interacting with, getting to know people through the societies. I put this here just as an example of the type of thing that the Marketing Society has done. So in March, earlier in March this year, they held their first international conference on personal branding. So they managed to get speakers, 7 keynote speakers, and people attended from all over the world. So the main point is there's lots of opportunities, there's lots of tools, and hopefully we encourage you and inspire you to take up these opportunities. Here are 3 of my former students, Kieran, Carla and Michael, who have a range of experience. So Kieran went on the Saltire Foundation. He won the prestigious place on the Saltire Foundation and found himself working in Florida in a Fortune 500 company. Carla was in Paris. She's working in fashion, and Michael was interested in drinks. So we worked with Bed & Spirits, which is the first gin distillery in Dundee for about 200 years, I think it is. So as I said, there's loads of opportunities, and top left there we see Michael and Kieran. They entered a business plan competition in their 4th year in their spare time, and they won £1,000 for the business model that they put together. I put this photograph here, this range of photographs to show that in first year maybe there might be 50 or 60 students in the class, but by the time you get to 4th year, this photograph in the middle at a house party is essentially all of 4th year. So students get to know each other by name, staff get to know each other, staff get to know students by name, and it's quite an intimate and friendly, but also serious and professional environment. So Matthew Russell is one of my former students. He now works at Sky as a business analyst, and he says that the business management course, he believes, has most definitely equipped him with the necessary skills and confidence to succeed in a career in business. So here are a few logos of the companies. These are the destinations that our students in the past have gone on to work. So we call them our friends in industry, and they really are our friends, as our students have the opportunity to network, to liaise, to learn through the alumni network, and through formal and informal contacts with people who work in these organisations and many others. So, as I said, I've tried to give you a whistle-stop tour to paint a picture of what things may be like if you were to come and study with us. Well, that's what I like to say and what I want to think. But now I'd like to hand over to Ida, who I'm very happy to introduce you to. She kindly agreed to come along to share her experiences and what it's like from a student perspective from the business management degree. So thanks, Ida, and over to you.
Thank you, Daniel. So hi, I'm Ida O'Mahony, and I'm a final year business management student at Dundee University. I'm really happy to be speaking to you all today, and please, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to find out, just pop them in the Q&A box. So yeah, we'll start off with why I chose business management in the first place. I wanted to do a quite diverse course that would open a lot of doors to me and included a lot of practical work. I had a wide range of interests in this field, like marketing and human resources, digital business, and all of this from previous jobs that I'd done during high school and such. And these were all covered in the program, as well as many others as well. So I really thought it'd be a course that would fit my interests and my skill set as well. For example, in first year, we get a great introduction into modules such as economics, accounting, marketing, digital and international business. And like Daniel was telling us, the module called Step Up to Business, which is a really great way to transition from high school to university and really build those skills such as essay writing, planning, referencing, and other really useful skills that I definitely found really helpful in my first year. I'm actually from Finland, so I'd never gone to a UK school before, and I think a lot of things were different. So this was a very great way to just feel comfortable, and I'd actually never done referencing before as well. So I think that module really got me stuck into university and made me feel comfortable with all the different assignments that we had. First year is a lovely introduction year, like I said. It's a great way to test out your essay writing skills and experience your university exams for the first time. And as they don't count in first and second year towards your final grade, and while I'd absolutely encourage you to do your absolute best, don't stress too much and really remember to enjoy the other parts of university as well, like making friends, joining societies, sports, socializing, and all of that. Dundee's a great place for everything. I think moving into university is a really exciting experience, and you'll be meeting your flatmates and getting to know each other. And I really recommend taking part in different events, such as guided tours with Dundee. I even went on a guided tour of Dundee supermarkets, which was actually really useful, and definitely visit the freshers fairs and sports fairs as well. There's so much to get involved with, and a lot of freebies actually as well. So I really recommend going to those. When I attended the sports fair in my first year, I took home way too many leaflets, but it's one of the best things I think I did. Went to a lot of give it a goes and fell in love with rowing, which really was a big part of my university experience and still is. Given me the experience of doing a team sport and making a lot of new friends who are some of my closest, in addition to, of course, my friends from my course. And I was part of the committee there as well in the role of freshers convener last year, and that was a really rewarding experience. Something to talk about in work interviews as well, showing leadership and organising events and such. There's 40 sports clubs in Dundee, so there's definitely everything and something for everyone. And the same goes for societies. Another great way of meeting people and learning new skills and just having fun. I think it's such a great thing about university is all these different groups of people that you can meet with similar interests as you and trying out something new. Dundee as a student city is perfect as a student city, in my opinion. It's small enough where you can walk pretty much everywhere and the necessities are all close by. And I like the fact that you live close to university and close to your friends, and it's really affordable too. It's big enough where there's always something going on, and it's definitely a great night out as well. So I think it's a perfectly balanced city to study in as a student. The campus is really compact for the most part, and the location is great. Even for day trips and weekend trips to Edinburgh and Glasgow and St Andrews, or going out for cycles and hikes like I love to do. Some of the pictures here are from my bigger adventures like the North Coast 500, bikepacking that, and some hikes like the West Highland Way. Really, really great experiences. And moving on to the projects that we've done during my time at university, just a few here. So the first one here on the left is our digital business in first year module, where we looked at the digital innovations at Argos, who had made a lot of changes to its concept and really changed that. And I remember it being the first assignment that I ever did, and I really, really enjoyed it. Our professor was really engaging in that module as well. And it was a great dive into this kind of case study way of working that I really enjoy, and which is a really big part of the business management program, these kind of case studies and real life problems that you get to look at and see what's successful and what's not. The second one here is from our entrepreneurship module, where we came up with a business concept to bring to Dundee, and ours was a bike sharing scheme. And it's actually pretty cool. So now there's hundreds of electric bikes around Dundee that you can hire out for the day or just for a couple hours or something. And it's great to see that this kind of came to life and is really, really popular currently in Dundee. And we see here in the bottom middle here, we have a website that I've been working on, which has changed from what you see there now, but it's from a company that I've been working on for about 2 years now, since I finished my internship module there in second year. It's a security company down in Broughty Ferry, and I've been promoted to customer relationship manager now, and yeah, building this website and designing a logo and doing a lot of promotional content for that. It's been an excellent experience alongside university, and really, really boosted my employability, I feel like, and opportunity that I probably wouldn't have gotten without that internship module. In third year as well, we used this program called SimVenture, which we worked as a team of project managers and ran this hypothetical business for the course of 6 weeks. We made decisions about everything, supply chains and investing and location and all of this. And it was very diverse and quite challenging as well, but it was great to reflect how these decisions were successful, and if they weren't, why not? And taught me a lot about project management in such a short time and in a really fun and engaging way. And like Daniel mentioned, the assignments at Dundee are really broad and varied, and it's far from just doing essays, which I really enjoy. These group projects are a great and fun way of learning, and I really enjoy the part where everyone shares their ideas and perspectives and coming together with a very broad and diverse project that everyone has had their impact in, and you learn so much from those discussions as well. And for me, an important part of my third year definitely was applying for internships for this summer. And I spent a lot of time submitting applications and preparing for interviews. And I use the Career Centre a lot. And as Daniel said, it's a great service that the university offers, supporting you in these interviews and CVs and things like that. And I had the lovely Caroline Smith help me with doing mock interviews and helping me finalize my CVs and just really putting me at ease with assessment centres and all of that, something that I'd never done before. And I was actually lucky enough to get 2 internships, and I think that's a lot of help from Caroline as well. And I had to decide which one to do. But I really, really enjoyed my summer working at, it's an energy company called Centrica. And yeah, the journey was really, really fun. We did a lot of project and group projects on that internship as well. And I found myself utilizing the skills that I had from university in that project a lot, and also got a lot of new skills that I'm going to bring to work at university as well. So yeah, I really found that the opportunities that I've got at University of Dundee have given me those skills and the confidence that I need in the real working world. And the journey has been enriched by all the other areas that the uni has to offer. The support is always there, and I've found it really, really easy to reach out to lecturers. And yeah, I recommend getting involved with as much as you can and spreading your wings in areas that you might not have previously even thought of. So thank you so much for listening. If there's any questions, just pop them in the box. Thank you so much.
Ada, congratulations on your promotion. You say you in the security company. I didn't realise you were working with the same company from second year, so that's great news.
Absolutely. No, it's really good. Even with like during my internship, that was a full-time job, but I was able to keep that part-time job as well because it was such a small amount of hours in a week. So it's been really good to have something to work.
The joys of flexible working. Yeah. So over the summer you had two jobs. Yeah,
really good.
3 jobs. You're a full-time student, although you're on some holiday.
Exactly.
Internship and the security company. Brilliant. Well, thanks for that, Ida. I don't know how many's in the room. Hopefully Hannah from Edinburgh is still here and anonymous. But if there's any other questions, anything you would like to just comment or to ask, or anything by way of clarification, we'd be happy to answer your question. If not, enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully we'll see you in September next year if you choose to come to study at UDSB, or the year after, whenever. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Laura, we'll wait. You said a 30 seconds delay. See if anything comes in, but I think if not.
Yeah, we have a new question now.
Oh, brilliant.
What ranking does Dundee Business School hold?
Good question. Was there? I think it was on the front cover at top 200 and top 200 business schools. I think universities in the world. There's a number of different sort of rankings. It's difficult to keep up to speed on which one is the flavour of the month. But as I was mentioning before about the Dundee University Student Association, the university consistently is ranked top for student experience. That's one of the rankings that the university also prides itself on. There's also the student barometer, and we've been ranked first in that as well. And the student barometer, I think that rates of the interest in that ranking is future sort of employability. You know, a lot of our students, as Ida will know, a fourth year who's just graduated, a student called Ross Grieve. He's done a lot of these presentations with us, hasn't he? And he had his job secured, you know, before he graduated. As it sounds yourself, Ida, you know, over the summer you've had 2 internship opportunities, and it was a case of you know, deciding which one is best for you.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of opportunities if you seize the day.
Exactly. That's the possibility of, like Ross, I hopefully, knock on wood, might get offered a graduate job from the place I was working at. I think, yeah, really shows that the skills that you receive, you can really go out and make yourself proud in the working world, definitely.
We have another new question.
Brilliant, thank you.
Is there only a business management course, or is there a business and marketing course, for example? That's
a good question. Thanks, Anonymous. Yeah, so I am the program director for the business management degree. Within UDSB, there is international business. Now, international business is a degree that is housed within economic studies. So international business has a bit more of sort of an economics flavouring, and it's also part of the MA pathway. So in business management, as I said there in first year, you have 6 modules delivered from academics within the business school. You're doing international business, because this is part of the MA pathway, only 2 modules in first year are from within the business school, and they are delivered by economics members of staff. The other modules, because of an MA pathway, a more liberal education, more sort of humanities and arts-based perhaps, sort of a broader education in the round, you have options to study international business with marketing, with geography, with the built environment, with other parts of the university. So we have students doing international business with psychology, international business with marketing, international business with finance, international. So yeah, there are opportunities to study international business with X, Y, Z. Or if you come to the University of Dundee School of Business to do business management, you have the modules like we spoke about. So if Anonymous is interested in studying accounting, for example, you should go and do an accounting and finance degree. If you're interested in studying marketing, you can choose, hopefully, like I tried to show throughout 2nd, 3rd and 4th year, you can choose the marketing modules and build your business management degree around a marketing focus. And that's exactly what I did in my undergraduate. I did European management. And every time I had the opportunity to choose a module, to choose an option, I chose a marketing option. And so within the business management, you can flavour your degree. But just note that if you graduate from UDSB in business management, it says on your degree business management. But maybe you've experienced this either. You know, when you go for a job interview, you graduate in business management, but your sales skills and your ability to sell yourself, you can convince the person in front of you that if you're interested in HR, you're interested in, say, digital business, you're interested in operations, you can tailor this degree to the employer, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Anonymous, does that help? Does that answer your question? Did you happy to come back or to follow up with that if you'd like to ask a further clarification question, or you'd like to get further insight from either? Hope that helps.
We have another question at the moment, which is how do you ease the transition between high school and university?
That's a brilliant question for Ida, perhaps. Would you want to answer that, Ida, because you've been there?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I was quite nervous, especially not going to school in the UK before. So everything was very new, and I think the way that I wrote essays in high school in Finland was extremely different to how university essays are written. And I think I'm not sure what the transition is from UK high school, but speaking to my friends and everyone, I think we were all in the same boat of, oh, we don't know how to reference properly. We don't know how to properly use the right sources or how to find these sources. And like we were talking about the module Step Up to Business, that's definitely where I got those skills firsthand. So there we really were taught quite in depth in how to find this information, how to cite it, and what an essay should hold. In things like how to write a report, or how to write a case study review, things like this that you might have never done before, they're also covered then in those modules, or those assignments are given and explained in really, really good detail what the lecturers are wanting from you and what these kind of reports or case study literature reviews should include. So you're never left kind of second guessing. And if you feel like you need to ask something, or you need support in something that you've never done before, you can always ask a lecturer and the Academic Skills Centre as well, to really brush up those skills and anything you're unsure of. Excellent,
Ida. Yeah, that's a thorough response. And just to add to that, just to underline and to highlight for that, for Anonymous, and to respond to that question, how do you ease the transition? Well, the T in Step Up, the T in the STEP stands for Student Transition and Enhancement Program. So Step Up is all about managing that transition. So just to echo what Edith said, not only do you have your advisor of studies, not only do you have your module lecturers, not only do you have me as the program director, not only do you have the Academic Skills Centre, you also have fellow classmates, and we forgot to mention either the Business Society. They also have an informal sort of mentoring scheme. We have academic families, so I know you're a mother, you're a parent to other students lower down the school, and when you were in first year, you had academic parents. So you know, when you have an issue or a challenge in one of your modules or your assignments, you can speak to all those people, including friends that you make in Freshers Week, through the societies, through your social networks. You can ask people in second, third and fourth year. They can help you. So just to echo what and to reiterate what Edith was saying, you know, the transition in Student Transitions and Enhancement Program in the Step Up module, you know, what do we do as students of organisations, studies, our students of management learning? We read and we write and we work in groups. So everything that you need to do in order to how to find sources, how to use the library, how to critically analyze sources, how to write a blog, how to write a journal, how to write a report, how to write essays, how to write an argument. You know, we have whole weeks in the Step Up module dedicated to helping you develop and refine your reading skills, help you define your note taking. I mean, how do you take notes from a lecturer who stands up at the front of a class or behind a screen and speaks to you about all the ideas that they understand, but you're just trying to get to grips with? So how do you become an independent learner? How do you watch videos to reflect and to help supplement your thinking? How do you read? How do you write? How do you make arguments? How do you make posters? How do you work in teams? And so hopefully that helps ease that maybe unease you may have around managing that transition. That's a good question, Anonymous, because whatever business management degree, if you're interested in doing business, you know, if you go and do it elsewhere, if you don't come to us, even look out. Hopefully, the business degree that you or the course that you study will have a first year module on study skills, like the Step Up. You might call it something else, but I think it's a key module. Any other questions there, Laura? Anything else either you've spotted or to add? Thanks for those questions, Anonymous. Is Hannah still with us? Hannah from Edinburgh, or anybody else in the room? Any further questions? Well, we are happy to take any more field any more questions you may have. Jolly good. Well, I think I'll take a comfort break. Ida, I think we get a chance to divert our eyes and remove ourselves from the screen. And we're back at 6 o'clock to do it all over again, yeah?